Hey fellas, today's video is all about the SCUF Envision controller and where I share with you my experience of the past 2 months. But before we jump into the video, I would like once again to say, hey, if you guys are looking for a good VPN, we launched our own VPN service like 5 weeks ago. We have a good response already. If you're interested and you would like to try it out, just hit me up via Discord or check out our homepage. It's called www.easygamevpn.com. Alrighty, boys. Today we're gonna discuss some serious stuff. And with stuff, I mean the SCUF Envision. And let's get straight. I will explain to you why I hate it and why I somehow like it. Okay? But the bottom line for everybody here is, in case you're wondering what's my opinion, I don't like it. It could be much, much better, but it's a good step. Okay? So that's my bottom line. If you're a console player, you can skip this video, go dislike it, whatever, just close it. Because this thing here, SCUF has only the license to produce it for the PC. So they don't have the license, obviously, for the PlayStation or the Xbox. So it's not working on your console. It's only working for PC only. Okay? Sorry for that, guys. I know you was looking forward to have like a controller with additional buttons. And this brings me like to the first thing. If you would like to use this controller on your PC, and I don't know why it is like that, but if you want to use it, you have to have the software run as an administrator, which means with elevated rights. If you do not start the software with elevated rights, you can't copy the profile to your physical controller. Anyways, the software that comes along with the controller is called ICUE, and it's basically an emulator. So it's similar like to the DS4, DS5, what we had in the past. And let's see what's happening. So here's the controller, and here's the first thing which is already annoying me. Like after that you have to start this software as an administrator in the beginning. Because first time when I was using this controller, give me a second, just to bring it up. So first time when I was using this controller, I remapped like one of the back pedals because it's kind of a thing that I do. I did it on my standard PS5 DualSense. So what I do is basically I map my button, which is here, like the back pedal here. I map it to sprint so that I don't have to press all the time like L3 when I want to sprint. For me, it's just more easier and more convenient to trigger it like that. So I did the same thing here. And for obvious reason, it's always telling me, okay, I have a profile conflict, okay? And I always press here on save, and it says everything is fine. The next time I restarted it, the software, it comes again. I'll show you in a second. And you will see the same freaking error will come again here. Doop, 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 doop. There you go. And I was doing everything. I was resetting, I was reinstalling. Doesn't matter. It stays like that, period. Bad luck, I guess. Okay, never mind. Click save. Generally, the software itself, as I said, is like the DS4 or DS5, okay? No big issues here. And yeah, before I start speaking, I mean, what I really like about the controller itself, that everything is 100% digital. So all the triggers are digital, same as, as on your DualSense that you can have. All the action buttons, the D-pad, and the back pedals. This is really great. I mean, this makes it so much easier because this is the only thing that I really would like to see a little bit improved on the DualSense, that you have the back pedals as well digital. But okay, that's why I said this is actually quite a good controller for good pricing, when you consider what kind of hardware you have there. What I would have removed as a default setting is the rumble sticks, because it makes it super heavy after sometimes. I mean, my hands start to hurt at some point, when I play like 2 or 3 hours in the night with the friends and so on. So it's kind of odd stuff, okay? But still quite good, okay? And now let's go to the next thing, which is super annoying to me. It's the software. So as you guys know, I play mostly Call of Duty or Warzone, right? Literally, this is the only thing, because I have a family, I have a business, I have a job. Time is limited at the end of the day. And what's sometimes happening, it's super odd. What sometimes is happening is in the middle of the game, the program shuts down. It's just simple. exits. It's not available anymore. And all of a sudden, you're in the middle of the game, in the middle of a gunfight, and all of a sudden, all your triggers are not working, your interactions are not working. You have no bloody idea what's going on. Super annoying. I hope they fix it. And I have an idea why is that. I mean, SCUF somehow just launched it. If you remember it, I think it was back in October. They just launched that controller. And if you look at the settings and you go here to the firmware updates, you can see that the SCUF Envision itself is at the version 09.41, which gives me like a little bit an idea that it's more or less like a beta or late beta stage. You know, it's not really a full release candidate that they provided here. And they said, okay, let's just drop it out. For the software, they say it's already at 5.9, which is kind of odd, but okay. Yeah. But when it comes to the firmware, you know, it gives you like an idea, okay, this is not a fully developed program. Not saying it's bad. Okay. I like the idea. I like how you know, the approach towards it, but generally could have been much, much better. But nevertheless, you already know that, you know, you have different profiles and you can set up this stuff. You can have this, you know, looked up at all the other creators who are already doing this. I'm not going to here to speak about that. In case you're wondering what's the input latency on that one, so Guy, I will drop his link in the video description. He already did the test and it's around 1.7 below 2 milliseconds, which is perfect. This is really great, okay? And you feel it also while you play it. But I will get there to a second, okay, as well, because there's some flip sides on the controller itself. So the main point here is you have a device setting, right? Oh, sorry. So, and in the device settings, you know, if you would like to use the full functionality, you have to run the software, right? I said this already. And here in the settings, you can go and map certain stuff, which is perfect. And a lot of creators was like, oh yeah, great. You can finally put on those action buttons. You can put like, mute everybody while I'm playing and blah, 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 blah. This is completely useless for us. I mean, for me as an average player, I'm not streaming. I streamed Modern Warfare 3 for a couple of friends, you know, because I had early access and that's it. I'm not a streamer. I like to play and I don't need the mute button. If I don't want to hear the guys in the pre-lobby or whatever, I just mute them. Yeah. What I wanted, you know, from those action buttons is, for example, and you see it here that I have already like mapped a lot of stuff, yeah? Like, okay, I want, you know, maybe to have the pinks deleted. I want to have the zoom out of the map. I want to have the zoom in of the map. Guess what? This is all not working. So you can map here the keystrokes, you know, the actual keystrokes that you can use in the game to, you know, open up the minimap, to zoom in, to zoom out, you know, to delete the pings or whatever. You can all map here. It's perfectly working, you know, you can test it even in a notepad. You can see it here. So, you see, it's perfectly working. So I mapped like the L and K, you know, for my zoom in and zoom out, and I mapped another T for removing all the pings. Perfectly working everything, right? The input is correctly recognized. So the mapping is working from a software perspective, but in-game it's not working. Don't ask me why. I have no idea. Might be related to COD itself. I don't know. Okay. Nevertheless. So, and as I said, you know, I was hardware mapping L3 to my back pedal here, you know, to the fourth back pedal. So, you know, because you have like slide and jump, or is it jump and slide, doesn't matter. Yeah. You have it here, and then you have the weapon switcher obviously on the right side, and you know, where you usually have like the reload or the X or the square button, I mapped to have the sprint button because it makes it easier for me. So I don't, you know, some kind of abuse the left stick. But at the end of the day, I did this on a hardware mapping. I have an error now because of this, doesn't matter. But from a software perspective, because I'm running the software, I also had to map it. And here's the thing. I had to map this thing here. I don't know why it's called slide. It should not be called slide. It's not sliding. It's running. It's stack sprint, but doesn't matter. It's just my mistake. Let me change that. Okay. So I mapped it here. And the main point is I can't map in the software here the back patterns to, let's say, L3 or left stick. Totally awful. Totally awful. Something that you can do hardware-wise, you can't do on the software-wise. Needs to be revisited immediately, in my opinion. what's the point? Now I had to find out what's the keystroke and then put it there. Okay, let's do it. But nevertheless, what I really like is, you have the left and right buttons here. So the left button I use, for example, for my ping up. This worked actually charming. And the right side button, I still haven't figured out what to put there because none of the other commands are literally working. I know some of you guys are using like dive or prone. But yeah, in a nutshell, just to have the ability to use all the different like mappings available and put them here on the controller, it's really good. This is one of the main points I took it because we all know that we do not have enough action buttons and options to control the in-game on a standard controller. Still, the idea, great. Execution needs to be improved, okay? And on the hardware, you can also do some remapping or whatever, but just leave this alone. This is completely, just leave this, okay? You see what they do like as a default setting, mute your microphone, increase, decrease the sound, etc., etc. Lightning effects, I strongly recommend to disable it. I will also do it. I still haven't figured out how to do that. And here comes the thing, right? When we speak about the triggers, okay? Good part is everything is digital, as I said in the beginning. This means also that the triggers are digital. So at the end of the day, what's really cool here is that you can set up the sensitivity of those triggers and how they should affect, but you have also the in-game settings. So I put them here like a little bit different. You can see it like with 4 and with 7 when it comes to the dead zone, and exponential on the left trigger, and on the right trigger I have really like this more aggressive style, okay? When it comes to the thumbsticks, this is really great. This is really like what we have as well in the DS4, okay? I left on purpose the dead zone here completely on 0. I didn't want it to increase it. And I left my response curve on the left stick, I left completely linear. And on the right side, I put it on very aggressive. The reason behind it is somehow Modern Warfare 3, it feels completely different than Modern Warfare 2. And when it comes to the input, and I was using now this controller extensively like the last 2 months since it came out. And I changed these settings to aggressive on my right stick, that where you're looking at. And in-game, I lowered my sensitivity to 6.6. This gives me somehow the most snappiest in-game response that I would like to have, when I go fast from one enemy to another. But when you look on the long run, when I'm snapping, okay, the curve flattens up more and I can be more precise. If you ask yourself, I just put not control freaks, it's something different. Put this on top here, but I was using the extended stick in the meantime, so I'm still trying to get acquainted to it. But once again, using a higher stick on the right side and with these settings does the trick for me at the end of the day. Of course, vibration I completely turned off because it's useless in my opinion. I don't want to have a freaking muscle ache afterwards. And that being said, this is about the software. And once again, I think the software is a good idea, but it's terrible when it comes to the mappings, etc. And if you do not believe me, try it by yourself. And I can show you as well that it's not working in the game. For example, when I open up the map, this is working fine. You see here, I have my tech map set. But when I go here and say, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that, nothing happening. Bad luck. We are now here in the game, right? And you can see that under my keyboard and mouse bindings, I have the zoom in and zoom out set up successfully, right? So, okay, this is how it should be. So the L and the J and the K is, I think, somewhere down below. That doesn't matter that much, right? I'll just maybe add here, maybe even as an alternative, right? Oh, sorry, it's an L, here is a G. And that should do the trick. So once again, we have set it up correctly. And I jump here again as well into my ICUE. Where is it? Yeah, I love that you need that long. And if you have a look here with me, right, the mappings. So I even change it to keystroke, not anymore to keyboard, but to keystroke because I thought maybe this is wrong, right? So let's make here the G out of it, right? So we have doesn't matter what it is right now, right? Just to make sure that we have those commands assigned. We overwrite, send it to my SCUF. Let's have a look at it, right? And as you can see, none of it is working. So I'm taking really like all my assigned buttons, nothing working, but I can open the map. So this is working perfectly fine. What's not working? Nope, no zone, no nothing. And if I go here, you can see literally that I type. Oh, you can't see it because my name is in front of it, but you see that there I opened the chat, right? So at the end of the day, not working. I don't know why, but this is the fact. And if you ask me, there's another really like severe issue with that controller and with that software. And this is the fact that sometimes when you hit the buttons, that are doing something completely different. In my opinion, this is a bug due to the software. So it's not only once happening to me, for example, that I would like to dive through the window, but instead of diving through the window, I'm jumping through the window and then I'm making a slide, although I just tapped. I know this is happening as well on ordinary controllers, as far as I know, but it's happening too often for me with the SCUF Invasion. Although there is an issue where I would like to slide and he's just going into prone. I know everything related to one button and that's the problem, but still, this should be not our main problem. And I see that, he's executing also sometimes like commands, even though that I'm doing something different. And when we speak about one of the flaws, one of the biggest flaws of this controller, being it completely new, is the dead zone. It already has stick drift. So I have on my left stick, I already have a stick drift of 1. And on my right stick, I have already a stick drift of 4. Which is extremely annoying because it's a brand new controller. It should at least stay, let's say, 6 months. I mean, my older one here, yeah, is even after like, I think, what I'm using it, like 1 year I'm using him, is still at like 2 and 4 or 5. So close to the range of this one. And this one is completely new. For me personally, this is absolutely no-go, especially when it comes like to quality. So, like, again, I think the product is great. It's a great idea, but the implementation, and especially the execution, was a little bit too fast-paced. And it's not only about like the stick drift; it's also about the triggers itself. So they are not very accurate at the end of the day. You see, I had to even adjust the internal trigger of the game. Otherwise, it was executing it all the time. So, in a nutshell, would I recommend the SCUF Envision? Yes, but only if you guys, Jesus, dude, I'm playing even without audio. But only if you guys do not have a SCUF PS5 controller. Okay, if you do have a SCUF PS5 controller, stick with that one. It's literally the better option.